So yes, I am back once again to review Spider-Man PS4, but this time the DLC titled The City That Never Sleeps. And yes, I am wearing the mask again. As ridiculous as that may look, I'm committed to the role. The City That Never Sleeps is a DLC for the PS4 Spider-Man game that explores Hammerhead and the mob and goes even darker than the first game. Now that's one big plus in this DLC, is that it does feel like a completely different story. It honestly is the sequel to the first game. It introduces new characters that we only heard about from the first one, being Black Cat. We actually get to see her this time. It introduces Hammerhead. It also brings back Screwball, and I'll just say this right now just to get this off the bat. I hated the Screwball challenges in this DLC. They were in the first one, and they were just as annoying then. I hate the Screwball missions in this, the first game in this DLC. I hate them. I hate her. Please do not bring her back for the sequel. The actual sequel that is actually titled Spider-Man 2 that I'm reviewing all these games leading up to. Anyway, going back onto the characters for this DLC, Black Cat was awesome in this DLC. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing her in the game, although I can't remember if you get to play as her. I'm pretty sure you don't, which is such a missed opportunity. Like, you want to play as Black Cat. You should be able to play as Black Cat. I mean, you got to play as MJ. Why not play as Black Cat? It seems like such a missed opportunity. But they really do her justice in this game. She is such an interesting character for the most part. She's pretty much, and I've always thought this about Black Cat, she is essentially a Catwoman ripoff. But how they treat her in this game, you start to really sympathize with her. But then again, you're not entirely sure if you can trust her, and they played that aspect of her character up really well in this game. Not to mention, I will now move on to Hammerhead. Hammerhead is the biggest dick. Now, I did say that this DLC goes darker than the first game, and I will spoil one aspect of this DLC if you haven't yet played it that really shows that crisp and clear. It's that second episode, the beginning of the second episode in this DLC pack, where one cop has a Spider-Man watch given to him by his son. So we already feel like we have some sort of connection with this character. I don't know, you look at the character and you're like, oh yeah, he's a nice guy. But then Hammerhead and his goons kill the guy, and you see the emotion on Yuri Watanabe's face. Spider-Man's just standing there like, what the hell did I just witness? I love this DLC so much. It just goes, it's like this. It's the Empire Strikes Back, but for the Spider-Man game. That's pretty much what it is. In that, it goes darker and explores areas of Spider-Man that weren't explored in the first one. Going back to Yuri Watanabe, she is, what they do with her in this game is so interesting, and it really honestly does suck that how they left her character was more of a side mission than instead of part of the main story. So this DLC doesn't do everything perfectly, but what it does with the characters is very interesting. Yuri Watanabe, if you haven't played this DLC yet, play it just for her. I don't even want to spoil it because I've already said too much. And it does bring Silver Sable back, and I didn't mention much of Silver Sable in the first game. I don't mind her in these games at all. I don't hate her, but I don't love her either. She's kind of just a character that keeps coming back. And if she's in the actual sequel to the first game, I wouldn't mind it if they did that, but she's in this DLC. That's all I can say. So I honestly didn't say much about this DLC because it is, even though it has like 3 episodes throughout it, it is rather short. But in saying that, it takes these characters, as I have been saying throughout this whole video, it takes these characters in darker and very interesting directions that you never thought they would do if you were just playing the first game. So if you have played the first game and you really loved it, I would implore you to play this DLC if you haven't yet. Anyway, that's my review for The City That Never Sleeps. I will now be reviewing, or my next video will be for Miles Morales, which I'm so excited for. I've kept all my thoughts on Miles Morales in my head. I didn't mention him at all in my review for the first game because I have a lot to say about Miles Morales for his game review. So I'll see you in that next video. The City That Never Sleeps is a DLC that when did it come out? The second episode in this DLC package sees a cop who has a Spider-Man watch. Fuck. Oh god.